Siena Moreno. At least that's how I would imagine to pronounce your last name. My Duval sister. It's nice to have you back in class. It's nice to know somebody from UNF is out there in the world making artwork. Okay. So, I still kind of remember your drawing style, actually. It kind of reminds me of Loomis or maybe even some of those Riley heads or something like that. You know, you kind of thinking about the structure there. I don't know where you learned to draw, but I kind of see you thinking through some of that, and I like your straight lines, and you're kind of thinking in planes. So all of that's pretty good. Okay. And sometimes when I say structure, it's weird because like if you draw structure, sometimes it looks like a robot, and the goal is to make it look like a the person, right? And so there's kind of this weird quality where you're trying to superimpose this structure, and hopefully it's helpful, but sometimes it makes it feel robotic, and it's like it takes away from our powers of observation. I guess what I'm talking about is the relationship between constructing something, building it, versus perception, which is kind of copying the thing that you see, and the uneasy relationship between the two. And the reason I'm even bringing this up, hopefully this will make sense, is that I love your structural approach, but sometimes maybe it might kind of take away from what you're seeing. You want to marry the two in a really successful way. Anyways, a couple of things that stick out to me is that there's a downward trajectory to the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. And I will say you got it with the eyes. You know, you did. There's something a little funny about this one, but I know you're going to fix that. This eye looks really nice. And I do, once again, I love that structure. You're thinking through it. But you can see there's something a little bit funky about that nose where it, what is it? Let me get rid of those red lines and maybe we'll see it. I know I saw it before. Is that it's not quite diving right enough. It's kind of like this. And when I look over at her, it dives a little bit and the nostrils dive. And it kind of relates to that sort of feeling with the eyes and all of that. And so this nose feels like it's going straighter, and these eyes feel like they're diving more. And the mouth looks pretty good too. So you can see there's just a slight little deviation with the nose where it's not quite dropping enough, and it's probably the ball of the nose that's not dropping. And that probably needs to drop a little bit. Maybe we raise the wing a touch. Then the other thing is, I know you've been thinking about structure, but I want to break down, structure. There's a perception of the model. It's that idea of like marrying the structure that we're thinking about to our perception. That those are kind of the center lines that are so important. Is that little crack in the lip? No, there's like a double crack. So we need to kind of find that middle piece right there. Okay. Once again, you can also still see that strong tilt. And I make a deal about the tilt because it makes it feel more dynamic. Even on the two little high points on the lip, this one's high right here, and this one's quite low. And usually we always just want to level things out. We don't want them to be that much. So when we examine that over there, right, this feels like our center line. I know, maybe we're drawing something or whatever, but we don't really get that feeling of center. It needs to scoot a little bit forward so there's less space here and more space here. And then designing this particular, I don't know, quadrilateral, I don't know, architectonic shape. That's what they call it at the New York Academy. This is like an architectonic shape. At least that's what Harvey Citron would call it. And so kind of designing that as like a keystone, and then that'll kind of show that maybe the base bumps up a little bit, and really I guess it's going to be the wing that comes up because we're talking about this being a little bit more angular. So once you establish that architectonic shape, you're going to move up the wing. You're going to move the center line in this mouth a little bit farther forward. And then look at this. See this little piece down here? Sorry, I have to zoom in so much. See that origin point? Right now in the drawing, the origin point's back here. So the overall lips in yours, the center line is kind of like right here. It's like 40, 60. And then over on her, it's like really small. It's like 20, 80 over there. So really the center line on those lips is a bit off. Couple other points. Yeah, moving that forehead back a bit is also going to be a pretty important point. Feels like this forehead's getting a little bit big. You're probably going to drop that a touch. So really, I guess the bone to pick would be getting this nose to drop a little bit by raising the wing, maybe shrinking the width slightly, finding a different center line down here, and taking a couple of nibbles off of the forehead in the front and also in the back, actually. Yeah. So I guess what I was saying is I see, I started off this critique talking about structure versus, or building versus perceiving. I see you constructing a center line, and I see there's a center line in this mouth here, but I just want you to find it to be a little bit truer. Really find the center line on your forms. Like this is the center, and the center on these lips is really far forward, like right in there, and designing this architectonic shape. Sorry if I'm just blazing through this critique. I think there's like 15 other people, so I'm trying to get to everybody. But really, long story short, really reanalyze your center line there. It's not quite true. Get the right tilt down there, and then also look at how small that forehead is. See if you can kind of shrink that up a bit. Also, the nose is probably a touch too big. A little off the top, a little bit back here. Whew. All right. Hey, good luck. I hope that, Riverside is treating you well this evening, okay? All right, so take care, and I will see you on Saturday. Let's see if there's one more thing. Is there anything else to really say? Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. Hey, maybe take a little back off that neck, too. All right, hey, have a good one. See you then.